I feel like the best thing that you can do, whether you're a personal trainer, whether you're a physiotherapist, or any sort of professional in general, is to connect with someone on a personal level, whether it's
Mhm.
being that friend for them, being that person that just listens to them. Because a lot of the times people that come in, whether it's, I need to lose weight or I want to look a certain way or, hey, I got a problem, they just need to be heard.
Mhm.
Whether it's they need to be heard of their mental state or the physical state, you got to be there for them. And I feel like I think that's the number one thing that can't be taught. It's just sometimes you either have it or you don't. And I mean, yeah, I think I don't know if you agree with me.
Mhm. No, I think it was a little bit of an adjustment. Like you're saying, you want to be professional, but you also don't want to be, um, like you're saying, robotic. You want to be genuine. You want to be yourself. You want to connect with people because that connection is really what helps people the most, right? It's not necessarily how much you know. It's the fact that you care, and the fact that you care gives people the motivation, gives people the desire to be accountable. I think the relationship is the most important thing when it comes to being a coach, being a practitioner, because I've seen the opposite where someone doesn't really know what they're doing and the person just loves hanging out with them and they come back to their sessions and they come and they see results just for the fact that they're being consistent, right? So I think it's important to really to garner these really strong connections, these genuine relationships, because that's what helps people the most. And really, the reason I do what I do is just to see people break through and change and feel more fulfilled in their life is what's the most rewarding about being a coach.
Of course. I mean, like again, physio and coaching, they're the same, and they
Mhm.
go hand in hand, right? And I have such respect for you as a coach, as a professional. I mean, when I first came into our old workplace, you were the senior there, and I
Mhm.
learned a lot from you. I learned, you know, to be less rigid, to kind of have that mannerism where you don't have to be 100% professional, but you still have to be professional. I mean,
Yes.
it's it's
Yes.
it's hard to explain, but if you've ever been with a personal trainer or just any healthcare professional, you know it. You can feel the difference between someone who's genuine, who cares for you, that jokes around, that remembers certain things. That could be like last session they mentioned about they had to go bring their kid to their soccer. Hey, how'd your kid do? How was the match? Just small things, just being genuine, being interested in their interests, and showing that, like you said, they show up for sessions. They're more likely to come. They're more likely to actually be engaged. And that's the whole thing. Whether you're a coach or physiotherapist, you want to have your patient or your client engaged. You want them to be in control of their
Yes.
change and not the
Yes.
other way around. And if the only thing that you need to do is be that person to help keep them accountable by being a friend and being an ear to them, and they're going to come in and do the work, hey, I'm your man,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
That's the
Exactly.
number one thing.
Exactly. And I think that's probably what I didn't recognize when I first started. Like I tried to learn everything I possibly could because I feel like if I knew everything, then I could help people the most. But after a while, it's like, okay, but if I was so rigid and I was so like technical, it almost pushed people away because I don't know if they felt like they were talking to a robot or whatever. It's when I finally said, okay, I understand I need to be professional. I'm not going to cross any lines here. I'm going to be professional with my people. I'm going to approach this professionally. I'm going to have everything written out. I'm going to do all the stuff that I would keep as
Hmm.
a
Hmm.
professional, but I'm just going to be a little bit less uptight when I talk to people. And I honestly, that made the world of difference. I saw the most amount of change when I was able to connect with people, when I start to understand them, when they start to understand what I'm looking for. And it just 10 times the results for people when we're able to build that relationship. And as you said, make it about their internal control, make it about their mastery, their autonomy, their
Hmm.
ability, their competence, right? You're just building other people up. That's really what our job is, building other people up.
Yeah, if you think about it, all right, so as a physiotherapist, right, I might see them maybe once a week, if that, maybe once
Mhm.
every 2 weeks. As a personal trainer or as a coach, you might see them twice a week if you're
Mhm.
lucky, if the person has the time and ability. What
Mhm.
are they doing for for the rest of the week, for the rest of the 2 weeks. You
Yes.
only have an hour to change them or to keep them accountable to, or to do whatever you need to do with them. What are they doing the rest of the time in between those sessions, in between that stuff? If you can get them to then shift that control from myself to them, then you've won,
Hmm.
right? And it
Hmm.
doesn't have to be immediate. As long as you're getting them start to think about things, or they start to, hey, I still keep in contact with a couple of my clients. I still do training on the side here and there, virtually and stuff like that. I have people texting me all the time, hey, I did a killer workout, and just sending it to me. Awesome, great for you. Keep it
Hmm.
up,
Hmm.
right? It's the fact that they've now taken control of their life or their future or whatever
Hmm.
their goals are, right?
It's empowering them, and that's probably the most important thing, right? You're like you were saying earlier, the internal locus of control. Because when people know that they can change their life, then they can actually change their life, and it's not like they have to wait for somebody. There's not have to relying on somebody. It's them and themselves that are doing this. You're just there to keep them accountable, right? There's 168 hours in the week. Even if I see you 3 of those hours, there's 165 hours that you could be doing things and making decisions that line up in one direction or the other. And
Mhm.
honestly, this is why I've shifted more to a lifestyle coach, because there is so much time in between sessions and I can only do so much in an hour. Sometimes I wish I could do more in that same time, but in the end, like, people have enough to deal with that you're not trying to kill them in 1 hour and try to make up for the other 167 just
Of
by
course.
1 hour. You got to help them to build the skills to be able to do other stuff, focusing on nutrition, focusing on hydration, on sleep, recovery, a lot of the stuff that you're probably learning.